Imagine this, a bustling international airport, crowds rushing like rivers in flood, and in the midst of it all, a sharply dressed man in his 60s, looking utterly lost. His expensive suit screams wealth, but his frantic gestures and broken English fall on deaf ears. No one stops. No one cares. Until one person does, and changes everything. Hey everyone, if you're enjoying these incredible true-inspired stories of everyday heroes and cultural twists, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and drop a comment below telling me where you're watching from. Is it Tokyo? New York? Or somewhere totally unexpected? Let's connect in the comments. Now, let's dive into the story. It was a crisp autumn morning at Narita International Airport in Tokyo, one of the busiest hubs in the world. Flights from every corner of the globe converged here, carrying tourists, business travelers, and dreamers alike. But on this particular day, Terminal 3 was a whirlwind of chaos. Delays from a sudden storm had backed up departures, and the air was thick with frustration. Announcements blared in Japanese and English, but for Hiroshi Tanaka, a renowned Japanese tycoon returning from a high-stakes business trip in Europe, nothing made sense. Hiroshi wasn't just any businessman. At 62, he was the founder and CEO of Tanaka Electronics, a multinational corporation specializing in cutting-edge robotics and AI. His company had revolutionized manufacturing in Asia, employing thousands and boasting partnerships with giants like Sony and Toyota. Worth billions, Hiroshi was used to the world bending to his will, private jets, VIP lounges, and assistants who anticipated his every need. But today, he was alone, jet-lagged, and grappling with a problem that money couldn't immediately solve. His flight from Paris had been diverted due to the weather, landing him in Terminal 3 instead of his usual executive terminal. In the confusion of deplaning, his luggage, a custom Louis Vuitton set containing sensitive prototypes and confidential documents, had gone missing. Hiroshi's English was passable for boardroom negotiations, but in his exhausted state, it faltered. He approached the information desk, waving his boarding pass and muttering phrases like bag, lost, important. The young attendant, harried by a line of impatient passengers, glanced at him dismissively. "Sir, please fill out the form online," she said in clipped English, pointing to a QR code before turning to the next person. Frustrated, Hiroshi moved to the baggage claim area, where conveyor belts churned endlessly. He spotted what looked like airline staff and tried again. "Excuse me, my luggage." "Tanaka Hiroshi." But the workers, focused on sorting a mountain of bags, shrugged and continued their tasks. One even chuckled, assuming he was just another overeager tourist. Hiroshi's face reddened. In Japan, respect for elders and authority was ingrained, but here in the international melting pot, he was invisible, a rich man reduced to a nuisance. As minutes turned into an hour, Hiroshi's desperation grew. He pulled out his phone, but the airport Wi-Fi was spotty, and his international roaming was glitching. He needed to catch a connecting flight to Osaka for a crucial investor meeting. Without those prototypes, the deal could fall through, costing his company millions. Pacing back and forth, he raised his voice, switching between broken English and rapid Japanese. "Watashi no namatsu wa doko desu ka?" "This is urgent." Tanaka Electronics. Passengers streamed by, earbuds in, eyes glued to screens. A group of American backpackers rolled their eyes at the loud old guy. A European family hurried past, whispering about rude tourists. Even the security personnel, stationed at checkpoints, barely glanced his way. One guard, a burly Caucasian man, barked, "Move along, sir." No loitering. Hiroshi felt a wave of isolation wash over him. In his homeland, his name opened doors. Here, it meant nothing. Enter Marcus Johnson, a 45-year-old black security guard working the early shift at Terminal 3. Marcus was no stranger to being overlooked himself. Born in Chicago to immigrant parents from Nigeria, he'd served in the U.S. Army for a decade, stationed in bases across Asia, including a stint in Okinawa, Japan. There, he'd immersed himself in the culture, learning Japanese to bridge the gap with locals. After his service, he moved to Tokyo for a fresh start, marrying a Japanese woman and taking a job in airport security. It paid the bills, but Marcus often felt like an outsider, his dark skin and American accent drawing stares in a homogeneous society. That morning, Marcus was patrolling the baggage area, his uniform crisp, his eyes scanning for threats. He noticed Hiroshi early on. The man's expensive watch and tailored suit stood out amid the casual travelers. But like everyone else, Marcus initially dismissed him as just another VIP throwing a tantrum. These rich folks think the world revolves around them, he muttered to himself, continuing his rounds. But as Hiroshi's pleas grew more frantic, something clicked for Marcus. The words weren't just noise, they were Japanese. Fluent Japanese. Nimatsu, Juyo, Hyaku. Hiroshi was saying, luggage, important, quickly. Marcus paused, his military-honed instincts kicking in. He approached cautiously, not wanting to escalate the situation. Sumimasen, o tetsudai shimashu ka? Marcus said in perfect Japanese, his deep voice carrying a slight American inflection but otherwise flawless. Excuse me, can I help you? Hiroshi froze, his eyes widening in disbelief. He turned to face the tall black man in the security uniform, blinking as if seeing a mirage. Anata wa. Nihongo o hanasemasu ka, he stammered. You speak Japanese? Hi, so desu, Marcus replied with a nod. Yes, I do. I've lived here for years. What's the problem with your luggage? The floodgates opened. Hiroshi poured out his story in rapid Japanese, the diverted flight, the missing bags, the prototypes inside. Marcus listened intently, his expression shifting from professional detachment to genuine concern. He pulled out his radio, contacting the baggage handling team directly. This is Security Officer Johnson. We have a priority lost luggage case for Mr. Tanaka. Flight from Paris, diverted. Check the overflow area. While they waited, Marcus and Hiroshi struck up a conversation. Hiroshi, still in shock, asked about Marcus's background. How did a man like you learn such perfect Japanese? He inquired, curiosity overriding his urgency. Marcus chuckled softly. Army days. I was stationed in Okinawa. Fell in love with the language, the food, the people. Married a local girl, we've got 2 kids now. Tokyo's home. Hiroshi nodded, impressed. Okinawa, that's where my company has a factory. Small world. As they talked, the baggage team arrived, wheeling Hiroshi's suitcases behind them. They'd been misrouted to a secure holding area due to the prototypes triggering a false alarm and scanning. With Marcus vouching for Hiroshi, the issue was resolved in minutes. Hiroshi bowed deeply, a sign of profound gratitude. Arigatou gozaimasu, Johnson-san. You saved my day, perhaps my company. But the story doesn't end there. Hiroshi, ever the businessman, saw potential in Marcus's bilingual skills and cultural insight. We need people like you at Tanaka Electronics. Security, yes, but also in international relations. Come work for me. Marcus hesitated. Airport security was stable, but the offer was tempting, a higher salary, better hours, a chance to use his language skills beyond patrolling terminals. They exchanged contact information, and as Hiroshi hurried to his gate, he turned back with a smile. The world ignores too many heroes, Johnson-san. Not anymore. Word of the incident spread through the airport staff like wildfire. By lunchtime, Marcus's colleagues were buzzing. Did you hear? The black guy speaks Japanese like a native. Suddenly, the man they'd seen as just another guard was a legend. Passengers who'd ignored Hiroshi earlier overheard snippets and shared the tale on social media. #AirportHero trended locally, with photos of Marcus circulating. Back home that evening, Marcus told his wife, Aiko, about the encounter. It was nothing, really. Just helping a guy out. But Aiko beamed with pride. You bridge worlds, Marcus. That's something special. Weeks later, Hiroshi followed through. He offered Marcus a position as head of corporate security at Tanaka Electronics Tokyo headquarters, with a focus on international training programs. Marcus accepted, stepping into a new chapter. His days of being overlooked were over. Now, he trained teams on cultural sensitivity, drawing from his own experiences. The ripple effects were profound. Inspired by the story, which Hiroshi shared in a company newsletter, Tanaka Electronics launched a diversity initiative, hiring more multilingual staff from diverse backgrounds. Marcus became a mentor, teaching Japanese to expat employees and English to locals. The program reduced misunderstandings in global deals, boosting efficiency and profits. On a personal level, Hiroshi and Marcus formed an unlikely friendship. They met for sushi dinners, where Hiroshi learned about American soul food from Marcus, and Marcus delved deeper into Japanese business etiquette. Their families connected too. Hiroshi's grandchildren played with Marcus's kids, cultures blending seamlessly. Years passed, and the story of that fateful day at the airport became lore. Journalists picked it up, turning it into articles about breaking stereotypes and the power of language. In a world divided by barriers, one piece read, "One conversation can unite." Marcus often reflected on it during quiet moments. People see what they expect, a black guy in security, a rich Japanese tycoon. But we're all more than that. Hiroshi echoed the sentiment in speeches. True wealth isn't in banks, it's in the connections we make. And so, what started as a moment of confusion ended as a testament to humanity's hidden depths. In the vast, impersonal expanse of an airport, two strangers found common ground, proving that sometimes, the most ignored voices hold the key to understanding. But let's zoom out for a second. This tale isn't just about Hiroshi and Marcus, it's a reminder for all of us. In our daily rushes, airports, offices, streets, we often overlook those around us. The janitor, the guard, the stranger with an accent. What stories do they carry? What skills hide beneath the surface? Hiroshi's company thrived under the new initiatives. By 2027, Tanaka Electronics expanded into Africa, leveraging Marcus's Nigerian roots for partnerships. Marcus traveled back to Chicago, sharing his journey with family, inspiring his nephews to learn languages. One evening, at a company gala, Hiroshi raised a toast. To Marcus Johnson, the man who spoke when others stayed silent. The room erupted in applause, but Marcus, humble as ever, simply smiled. To Hiroshi Tanaka, for listening. Their bond endured challenges too. When a cyber threat hit the company, Marcus's security expertise thwarted it, saving millions. Hiroshi, in turn, supported Marcus through a family health scare, flying in specialists. The airport incident sparked broader change. Narita implemented multilingual training for staff, reducing lost luggage complaints by 30%. Marcus consulted on the program, his story the catalyst. Socially, it challenged prejudices. In Japan, where foreigners sometimes face barriers, Marcus became a symbol of integration. He appeared on TV shows, discussing his life, encouraging others to embrace diversity. Personally, Marcus found fulfillment. No longer just a guard, he was a leader, a bridge builder. His kids grew up bilingual, proud of their heritage. Hiroshi, nearing retirement, mentored successors with lessons from that day. Success isn't solo, it's shared. As I wrap this up, think about your own life. Who have you ignored today? Whose voice might change everything? Thanks for joining me on this journey. Remember, like, subscribe, and comment your location below. Until next time, stay connected.